Hey everybody, it's Death the Mudkip, and I'm back for another Pokemon ROM playthrough. This is Pokemon Floral Sky. I know it's been about 2 months since I dropped my last piece of content. We're going to name our starting character Dolan, that's just what we do, don't ask questions why. This is a ROM hack of Emerald, as you can see from the character sprites and the moving truck I just jumped out of, but as you notice, my hometown was very different than the little route we've come to know in the original games. So after we failed to steal May's Pokemon, we head over to Professor Birch's lab, and he's going to tell us to go help her on her adventure. There's no zigzagoon in the grass like in the other games. Anyway, so after Birch says, hey, go join May in the mountain, we head over there and we see a Darkrai, which vanishes. After that, we're attacked by a wild Bidoof, and we're given a choice of the Kanto starters. So I decide to run Charmander. I go for an Impish Nature because according to the internet, that's the best nature for a Charmander. I don't know if it's true. It only took me about 25 resets or so to get one, so no big deal on that. We're going to name the Charmander Subscribe. And if you haven't already done so, please click below to do it. Please. We're sent to battle May, and she literally wrecks our shit in 2 hits. It makes me wonder, Impish Nature? Are we sure? So after whiting out, we head back to the mountain. We challenge her for a second time, and wouldn't you know it, she slapped us again. So 3rd time's the charm. I was starting to get worried. I was like, did I screw up here picking this wrong? But no, it's no big deal, you know. Shit happens. Honestly, when it comes down to it, I've got a lot of positive things to say about this ROM. I enjoy the way they place the Pokemon around the region. It definitely feels like it could have been its own game. It's a really well-made fan hack, if you ask me. I love how they use the Gen 5 screen when you're looking at the Pokemon in the Pokemon Select menu. And starting off here, we're going to end up catching ourselves a Gothia? I don't know, whatever they call these, but I'm going to name it Shade, because, you know, goth chicks use eyeshadow. That's a dark shade. Don't question me, it's my playthrough, damn it. I do gotta be completely honest, though, I had to actually restart this ROM hack about 2 hours into it. As I'm slowly building a team, I came across a Pokemon I had to have, and it conflicted with my team's build, so I had to start over, and I ended up going with Charmander because of that. Now, originally, I had chosen Bulbasaur, because everybody knows I appreciate Venusaur very much. If you were to compare all 3 stats of the Gen 1 starter Pokemon, Bulbasaur does top, and the fact that it gets a dual typing right out the gate, also pretty important. But again, we're not here to talk shit about your favorite Pokemon. Cough, cough, I know it's Charmander, but it's not mine. Now it's on to the first gym, and this is where the Emerald roots of this ROM hack really shine through. This is pretty much just Broly's gym. It's the same deal, you beat a fighting type trainer, and the light around you gets bigger, and before you know it, time to fight the gym leader, who's not Broly. Also, where the hell did you get that Krogunk? I looked high and low. I do not remember seeing a Krogunk. Although this was almost 2 months ago. Not important, but is important as we won. We got our first gym badge. And then we're challenged by the other rival. This is our 3rd rival. It's just a sprite of Gary who goes by the name Skylar. And his whole thing is he has a Hippowdon. I don't remember the name. It's the Sand Hippo from Gen 4. You know what it is. He gives us Rock Smash, and we're on to look for more team members for the team. And I did not see a Purloin the first time I started building my team. I think we'll go with you. I want to name her Bella, just like my cat. And oh, look at Meowth. I had a Meowth last time I had started this game, so I'm going to catch the Meowth as well. I'm going to name it Momo because I've been watching Avatar: The Last Airbender lately, and we're just going to kind of go from there. Eventually I will replace one, but for now Momo knows pickup, so that doesn't hurt to have on the team. We talked to this fisherman and he gives us an old rod. Giggity, he gave us his old rod. I have no luck over here, so I end up going back to the city where the first gym was, and look at that, a Krabby. Can't remember the last time I had a Krabby. Gonna go with a real generic name here, don't judge me. I'm gonna go with Snips. The next town over, we get to watch Giratina fight Dialga in a battle, and we're pulled into the Torn world, which is really green for some reason. And we stumble upon Shaman, who happens to be sick, then we wake up and it was all a dream. Then we meet this magic lady Flash, and she recaps what happens and then leaves us be. So for now, it's time to kind of thin the party. We're moving on to the next part of the game. The first Krabby I caught had terrible stats, that's why you see me releasing that one. And then we're gonna box Bella. I end up catching a Timber. I try to name it Flex, but I'm fairly certain I ended up naming it Felix because, you know, dyslexia. And now we're moving on to the part of the game that made me restart. Yes, as I had said earlier, I originally picked Bulbasaur as my starter, but then I decided to restart as I came across a Pokemon I just had to have. It was Swaddle, and the moment I saw it, I knew I had to have it. While we're on this, what's your favorite bug-type Pokemon? Let me know in the comment section down below. Oh, and also subscribe to Evolve, so if you haven't already evolved your subscribe button, you should do so by clicking it now. After a little bit of searching, I found a female Swaddle. I named it Kale, and we're on to start grinding because I want to get that Levani as soon as possible. I had a real big brain moment. I forgot to record Kale's evolution into Swaddloon, but that's okay. We make it to the next city, and this is where we see more roots from the Emerald version ROM hack, because that's a Team Magmagoon we just spotted, and it looks like the Team Magmagoons have taken over this building, so we're going to force our way up to the top and make them stop doing whatever nefarious deed they are doing. It turns out this is the Duvon, whatever it's called. It's essentially the plot device in Emerald that kind of moves along you getting the Poke-Etch? No, it's not it. Shit, what is it? The Poke-Nav. God. You know, I'm becoming a Poke-Boomer. I'm starting to forget what generation gave us what. Back in my day, there was only 151 Pokemon. No, jokes aside though, Maxie's over here threatening the president of the museum, or President Stone. I honestly can't remember. It's been so long. I know that's my own fault, because I should have recorded this right after I finished playing it, and instead I went on to play another ROM hack because I needed distractions from my depression. It's nice to see that it's not just only Poochyena and Zubat and Coughing on these teams. There's a lot of different variety for the fire type. You know, they're really sticking with the Magma theme, and I can appreciate that. I think the programmers put a little bit of extra love when it came to the enemy teams. I was right, this was President Stone, so he gave us the Poke-Nav. Ha, got it. With that business being said, we're on to the next gym. I think I also copped a bike. What's interesting about this ROM hack is there's two different bike shops. One bike shop gives you the acro bike, the other bike shop gives you the match bike. Also, I'm getting vibes of like Gen 2's Whitney gym in here, and it's always nice to see when someone's making a ROM hack that put the effort into changing the gyms up. I've played plenty of ROM hacks before I was recording, of course. Essentially, I would go into a gym and it was like literally the same thing, and they might change like one or two trainers, maybe just change the gym leader in Battle Sprite, but the Overworld Sprite was the same. Again, it's nice to see this effort. I appreciate it very much. As we're going through the battle, I noticed on her second Pokemon, she throws out a shiny Lopunny. Yeah, no, that's a shiny because the regular one's yellow, so that's kind of cool, I guess. I'm a little jealous because I didn't find a shiny the entire playthrough of this, but that's not a big deal. And I maybe just spoiled that for you. But you're not here for my shiny reactions. You're here to see how this ROM hack is and decide if you want to play it for yourself and or just hope I entertain you. All rambling aside, we are on to the next portion of the game after claiming our second gym badge. And that's one thing I do have to say about this ROM hack I'm not a huge fan of, was the overall map layout. So, again, it's a custom map, but it's just really awkward, and I found myself backtracking like 12-ish or longer amounts of time. The amount of time I went back and forth, because I didn't know where to go, was a little tedious, I will say that, which I'm not saying it's not worth a play, it definitely is, but again, maybe once or twice I had to get my ass up on the old YouTube and figure out where the hell I was going. That being said though, as you just saw, we went through a custom temple, which was pretty sweet. There's a lot of pros and very few cons to this. The selection of Pokemon's amazing, I highly recommend it. This is like ripped straight out of Pokemon Diamond. You know, we got the Pokemon that all have a headache and only a secret potion's gonna fix that. Finding that was a bitch, but it turns out up there is actually way to the Pokemon League, and that's why I was having such an issue getting up there. Which kind of leans back to my entire gripe. The map is just so confuckled, it's really hard to navigate. But once you figure it out, it's pretty sweet. I mean, we have all kinds of terrain in different areas and some custom stuff. This gym's a little recycled, but hey, no big deal. I mean, who didn't enjoy the Gen 3 Mallville gym? You know I did. Plus, we're seeing Gen 4 and 5 Pokemon in it, so I can't really complain. Now, this is not an insanely hard ROM hack. This is not some Casio kind of shit. This is I'd say a very standard ROM hack. My team, however, is not really up to par, so I'm not even going to waste your time watching myself get thrashed by Watson a few times, but changes need to be made. So I'm thinking over here, who's the weakest link, and unfortunately, it's Momo. Momo doesn't really serve any purpose besides rock smashing, and that's easy enough to replace. You know, we do have a fighting type on the team with Felix, so I'm going to replace Momo with this Nidoran and then hit it with the Moonstone for a Nidoking, because it'll be a ground type, and we should have advantage against electric type. We're naming Nidoking Perp because he's going to be purple, and let's get the evolution going. But unfortunately, even though I evolved him, this is Gen 3, the move types aren't great. I was hoping he'd get Thrash off the bat, he did not, and that means it's more grinding. We're knocking out Pokemon left and right in this ice cave, and we come across a Sneasel, and I'm like, holy shit, I'd rather enjoy Sneasel. I cannot say he's one of my favorite, but I always thought he was cool. So we caught the Sneasel, named it Grim, and went on about our day. And then we came across a Lavatar, which I'm gonna catch it, you never know, Pseudo-Legendary might come in handy. Gonna name it Kira, you know, because I just watched Death Note recently, and although now that I think about it, I did come across a shiny Lavatar in another recent ROM I played through, so I think I'm just gonna bench him for now. Anyway, back to the fight. Watson's slapping us around. What else is new? There's a reason I didn't let you watch him punch me in the face the first 5 times. Little fun fact about me. Life is good at punching me in the face. The joke's on it, though, because I don't know how to stay down. Because Mama didn't raise no quitter. Anyway, 6 times the try. We beat Watson and we're onto the Safari Zone. And look at that. There's Eevees here. I'm going to catch a shit ton of Eevees. Then contemplate, do I really want to break my back trying to make every evolution and make a full team out of them? Decide, nah, that ain't really worth it. I'm kind of happy with the team I have now, you know. We got bonds. They're special to me. As Momo glares at me from the PC because I replaced him with Perp. Sorry, buddy. So as you can see, there's no real risk to this challenge I'm doing. I'm just playing through it. I'm thinking, if not the next ROM hack, the next ROM hack will be a Nuzlocke. Truth be told, I've got like 4 of these things recorded. I'm actually just doing the voiceovers now, and I don't remember what order they're coming out in, but I promise you, if not the next one, the next one will be... I've got a weird taste for hardship and self-loathing coming my way, so why not? Also, check it out. I'm pretty certain it was a cut feature. Snow was not available. We had the Shoal Cave, and that's where you found ice types. Originally, they had planned for snow because of cast form, but it never made its way into the game. So the fact that we're seeing it now, that's pretty awesome. Just saying. Also, after defeating Team Aqua, we're on to the next gym, which is built kind of like Price's gym from Generation 2. I got a fun side note here for you. While we're breaking down this puzzle in the gym, I am about $400 short from completing my PC build. You know what that means? When I'm done building it, I can start streaming on Twitch and doing live streams of these playthroughs, and you guys can join me. Just tell me what you want me to name the team. Oh my god, it is Price. Wow. I guess Price moved over here to the new region I can't remember the name of. So believe it or not, this battle took me like 2 to 3 tries, and that's mainly because I kept sending out subscribe, which by the way, I can tell you haven't done it yet, so why don't you just both do us a favor if you watched this far? Come on, click the button. Alright, now, all jokes aside, I didn't really pay attention the first time I fought, and I didn't really make good move choices, and it ended up costing me the battle, but that's okay, live and learn, we won. So now we're on to the underground path, which just looks like a college dorm. Love this, by the way. It's a whole vibe. Once we get outside of the underground college dorms, we come out into a tropical town. I think it's a pretty fun jump. We go straight from Ice Town, underground path, tropical town. And this is like, think of the name in the Emerald games, but this is where like the space station is. I feel like this is the remake of that island. Team Magma opened up a McDonald's here, and they're actually making a lot of money through the chain. No kidding, that's actually the new Magma base. It's definitely a unique building, but we can't get into it yet. So out of all the ROM hacks I've played, and the few that I've actually recorded, because, you know, this channel's only about a year old, and I took quite a bit of time off throughout hiatus and depression. Out of all the ROM hacks I've played, I want to say this is probably one of my top ones. It's just really enjoyable, and it feels like it could have been a real game, and I know I've said that before, but to me that's important. If it's just a really shitty carbon copy of another game with a few changes, it doesn't really enthrall me. Then again, sometimes they don't always catch me. I mean, look back at Pokemon Dark Rising, The Legend of Giratina. A lot of effort was put into that game, and I do mean a lot, and I just didn't enjoy it. I guess what I'm trying to say here is, I don't always recommend ROMs. I play them usually so you don't have to, but I highly recommend you check this one out. I really do. So we thwomp the Team Magma base, we team up with Skylar and Cynthia, and I think Wally as well. We join the global police headquarters, we clear out the Team Magma base, and then Gothia, or Shade, evolves into her next form. After that we battle Skylar, and then we backtrack to that forest we passed after we beat May and left the first cave/town. And let me tell you, this Hippowdon put up quite a damn fight. It ran through most of my team before we finally took it out, so good for you and your love of hippos, Skylar, good for you. After the dub, Skylar parts ways, and we decide to train in the forest for a bit, just because Subscribe is close to reaching its final form, and even though we suffer many poisons and paralysis, eventually we do hit it, and Subscribe reaches level of Charizard. So, once again, I must ask you, subscribe for Charizard. Do it. Do it! So although this forest dungeon is brand new, we're tying back to the Emerald roots again. Team Aqua and Team Magma are here, feuding over the red orb. Yep, the red orb, I said it. Can't make a ROM hack without going back to some of the roots, right? We work our way through all the Aqua and Magma grunts. We end up fighting Maxie again, and he tells me pretty much too bad, so sad. We got the orb, and there's nothing you can do about it, except maybe fight me. And while I'm fighting him, Wally and Skylar take on 2 of his, like, Admiral grunts, or whatever the hell they are. And then this bastard Maxie tosses out a Heateran. Bro, why are you chasing Groundon? You got a legendary fire-type Pokemon. I just don't see a point. Like, you already caught one, why do you need another one? I get it, it's to probably make him tougher, like, as one of the bosses of the game, but still. That's some dumbass logic. So while I'm slapping the taste out of Maxie's mouth, Archie shows up and debows the orb. Then a pink Celebi drops down and warps me to this like dead forest world, which I'm assuming is part of the Torn world, and I find out the hard way. I've got to complete these puzzles like the ice puzzles in the 8th gym to progress, so this is going to be a headache. I'm just going to speed it up that we don't have to watch me fail like 25 times. I am digging like the color scheme and the look of this dungeon. It's very aesthetically pleasing. I figure out though eventually you have to go back to this rock, click it every time you finish one of these ground puzzles, and then the glass panels start to appear. Once all the glass panels start to appear, finally, you can head up to a cutscene where Giratina is fighting Dialga. Flash is also here for some reason, because again, Magic Lady. And then Giratina and Dialga are stopped by Shaman in its sky form, which then reverts back to its regular form. Then we encounter it, and it's shiny. And I did double check just to see if I was super lucky. I was not. Every single time you encounter this Shaman, it is shiny, so that's kind of cool. We catch it, and I name it Sonic, and I've never used a Shaman on my team, but it is the cover art Pokemon of the game. Fuck it. Sorry, Levaney, you've been replaced. Now, of course, replacing Kale with Sanic was not my first choice, but I felt like I needed to do it for you. Plus, it's a shiny Pokemon, and it's a mythical, and it's on the cover, and that's my logic, and I'm sticking to it, so... Moving on to the next gym, there's this a pain-in-the-ass floor tile puzzle, like straight out of Giovanni's Wettest Dreams, and then I find out after I get to the end of it, no one wants to fight me because the gym leader's not there. Yay! So I have to go find her at the library, nerd, and then convince her to come fight me at the gym. This is a Steel-type gym, and speaking of gym badges, I find it kind of funny that I think I have maybe 4 gym badges now, if not 3, and I have a legendary Pokemon already, well, I guess mythical, but a Pokemon of legend on my team, so kind of interesting. Reminds me a lot of Alpha, Sapphire, and Omega Ruby, where essentially, after defeating your father and having 5 gym badges, you surf across a little gap where Maulville is, or New Maulville, and Steven Stone catches up with you, and then you get a Latios after riding Latios, or whichever variant you played the game with, like Mystery Island or Mirage Island, and after chasing off an Aqua admin or a Magma admin, depending, you're giving a legendary Pokemon. So I thought that was pretty neat. It kind of reminded me how this happened here. After clearing the gym, Scott shows up and tells us, hey, come on over to the battle tent, my dude. Oh, and then, because there's no trading in this game, Flex or Felix evolved into its final form, Conklidor. Oh, and then Shade evolved right after her final form, so yeah, fully evolved team, woo! Now, if I could just figure out how to turn Shaman into its sky form, I think I'd be fully set here, but overall, it didn't turn out as a bad team. I'm rather happy with them. I don't plan on switching anything up here. Anyway, I'm kind of lost at this point. I don't really know where to go, so I head to that island that Scott was talking about, find out there's nothing there for me. Eventually, I plow my way to the far right corner of the map, and I find a farm that Cynthia's grandparents own. She gives me the secret potion, which helps me clear out the little hordes of Pokemon blocking my path. Cough, cough, Diamond and Pearl. Then we're on to the next gym, which is a very basic clone of the Flying Gym. I'm not complaining whatsoever, as Watson's gym was a basic clone of itself with just a few new Pokemon. Very much so how this is a clone of the Fortress Tree Gym? The Tree City in Hoenn. Anyway, the point is, it's like the Flying Gym there, it's just got a few changes like Combee and stuff, but either way, I'm not complaining. You see this a lot in ROMs, like the deeper you get into a game, sometimes it's a hard thing to change. I'm not mad about it, I'm not going to peg the ROM for it. I mean, it's got a new gym leader. Although, oddly enough, the gym leader is Iris from Gen 5, you know, the dragon-type user. I mean, you straight ripped her sprite from the Gen 5 games. If you were going to do that, why not just bring over, I think her name was Flora? The flying-type one. There's literally a flying-type gym leader in Gen 5. Okay, so I am going to hit you for that. Questionable decision. WTF, mate. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to dock you at least half a point for unoriginality by using Iris for a flying-type gym leader. Don't know what the score is going to end up until the very end, but I'll tell you, whatever it is, you lost half a point there. But, and then they give her Tornadus. I don't even. I just don't even. And then, of course, she remembers that she's late for the contest, so she leaves you in the gym, doesn't give you the gym badge. You got to go all the way to the contest hall to get her to give you the gym badge. And, oh yeah, we came back to that gym where we fought May like 20 minutes ago into this ROM. The Pokemon that was invisible blocking the door was a Mudkip, so unfortunately, you know what I gotta do. We gotta catch it, we gotta name it Death, we're gonna train it up, and unfortunately, it's gonna replace Snips. Come on, guys, it's a ROM, Mudkip's in it, you know I was gonna catch it. I'm sorry, hate me, it's what I do. And we're on to the gym that Death was blocking here, and it is the ice puzzle, you know, from Sutopolis, so done this enough times that it's not even hard for me anymore. Not that it was ever hard before. I mean, I guess it was hard when I was like 12, but that's not important. The point is, we're on to the next gym leader. Leader Aragi was Professor Juniper. Nani? I know that was cringe, I'm sorry. Don't leave, please. Please, you've already stayed this long. You want to watch me slap the tits off the Elite Four? I know you do. Oh, she had Vaporeon. That explains too much. The next time I play a Gen 5 game, whether it be ROM hack or normal or randomized, I will always be silently judging you, Juniper. Always. So from at this point, once we defeat Juniper, we have to go clear out the lab, which is just recycling the new Mauville puzzle in the Gen 3 games, where you have to go underneath the bridge and shut down the generator because it's going haywire. Skylar wants a piece of you, so you gotta tussle with him first, take out his whole team. Then it's underground, and here it's kind of interesting because inside this lab, and I'm using air quotes here, you have a bunch of the Gen 5 Pokemon you would find in Chargestone Cave, as well as a couple of Gen 3 Pokemon. So it's a nice variety of electric-type Pokemon. Granted, I'm not adding anything new to my team unless it's shiny. No luck there. So we're going to work our way through that. After that, we have to go back to the plot of the story and deal with Team Aqua. Because remember, a while ago, when we found Shaman, they totally jacked the blue orb in that forest. Team Aqua is renting out a room in the museum in the first town where we got that gym badge from the Not Brawly gym, so we're going to be heading there next. And once we get to the museum, it kind of morphs into the Team Aqua hideout base that's like right outside Moss Deep City. I think it's Moss Deep City, or maybe it's Lily Cove City. Regardless of what city is in Hoenn, the main Team Aqua base where the submarine is, that's what the museum devolves into very quickly. Once we plow our way through that, we end up at the scene once again where the admin stops us while the submarine gets away. After that, we're given dive, and then we just have to head to the cave where they took the submarine, because again, they're still following the plot points of Emerald, where they're like, oh, we're gonna awaken Kyogre and Groudon. What I will say about this part of the story is I enjoy that Cynthia, the champion, gets involved and helps deter this, even though we're the one doing it. Primarily by stopping Archie and Maxie before they actually awaken the legendary Pokemon, Groudon and Kyogre. It kind of ends the story here. I like the fact that they critically failed. I don't have to see a legendary rise up every single time. I have my legendary, it's Shaman. Plus, it would have made more sense if they were chasing Dialga and Giratina, but I get that. That's a whole lot of recoloring for grunts, especially when they're not really that big a part of the story. So either way, not a big deal. I thought it was really funny that they didn't really get what they wanted, and now it's just like, hey, go get that 8th gym badge and take on the league, Tiger. And honestly, if this story wasn't satisfactory to you, that's okay. This was a ROM hack made by a fan who thought they could do something different. And like I said before, it did feel different. It felt very unique and alive, and I like that. I like that a lot. Back to actual game commentary here. May wanted to take us on before we got to the last gym, and she didn't realize that she was not a match. Oh, and this gym. This is a clone of the Psychic gym. Oh, I hate this gym with the little warp tiles and the double battles. It's a pain in the ass, but it's the last gym. So we're going to take it on, and then we're moving on. So I know there's only about 5 minutes left in this video, so if you got this far, I just want to stop and say, hey, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough with me. Maybe you weren't sure about this game, so this kind of gave you the nudge to go try it. If not, hey, guess what? You just saved probably a good 28 to, 45 hours of your life by not playing it. Again, I do highly recommend it. It was one of the more enjoyable ROM hacks I've played. But now I gotta ask you, have you played this ROM hack? If you did, what did you think of it? Let me know down in the comment section below. Either way, we finally make it to the final gym leader, and wait a minute, isn't that Grimsley from like Gen 5's Elite Four? Seeing as how the menu when you open up your Pokemon screen to look at them is from Gen 5, and a couple of the sprites have been from Gen 5, it really wouldn't surprise me, but that's neither here or there. Our teams are at about the same level, but unfortunately for him, I don't follow a type style. I just picked up what I liked, so it's easy enough to take the win. Alright, so it's on to Victory Road, but of course we're challenged by Wally first, because this is a ROM hack of Emerald. So, real quick, we're going to slap Wally down. Unfortunately for him, his type matchups weren't great, but then again, I am a Pokemon master of almost 20 years, so we can't hold it against this boy. He did try his best, but his best was not good enough. Now, they did not change Victory Road whatsoever. Maybe a couple Pokemon encounters here or there, but it is the exact same as it was in Emerald. Well, except for the fact that when you get out of Victory Road, then Skylar wants to fight, but I mean, what else is new, right? I wish I would have known about that. I might have brought a few more items to heal up, but it wasn't enough to really stop me in my path. I was just like, I'm not really surprised by this. The overall puzzle of Victory Road is exactly the same as Emerald. So if you're like me and you feel like Victory Road a lot of the time is just kind of like a tedious waste of your time, last minute dungeon, then at least it was an easy walkthrough. So anyway, let's get on to the Elite Four, because I know that's why you're actually here. The first Elite Four member is Bertha, and she is a ground type user. Death and Shaman made quick work of her. The next member in the team is Alder. Alder's got a different name here, but it's the Gen 5 Pokemon champion from Unova. And he is a Fire-type user, as you can see from his hair and from his Pokemon team. The third member of the Elite Four is a trainer named Ice, who uses Juan's body and some anime-like protagonist hair, and he's a Dragon-type user, even though his name is Ice. Ha! That was tricky. I wasn't almost ready for that. Ice's Dragonite was the only real challenge for us. There was a couple times where he knocked my Pokemon down, and if this was like a no-items run, we may have actually seen some trouble. This was Nuzlocke. I don't even know if I would have finished it, but it's not, thank goodness. So here's me just chipping away at him with my entire team. The fourth member in the Elite Four is Flash. You know, the chick who we ran into in the Torn World, who was helping us with a lot of spiritual stuff, and it's no surprise she's a Ghost-type user. So now I wonder, was she using her Ghost-type Pokemon to put her under hypnosis so she could enter the Torn World? We'll never really know. Overall, though, she didn't really put up as much of a challenge as Ice did. That Dragonite he had was just, it was beefy. But most ghosts aren't tanks, so there's that too. And just when you thought we were done, boy, please, we gotta heal up because there's still one last challenge. It's Champion Cynthia. I know you didn't forget about her. She was in the story for like half of the video. Her team is a very interesting choice of Pokemon. We've got Mezzy Sprite, Roserade, which if I remember correctly, she had a Roserade in the original games. Armaldo, I don't think she had that one. Then it gets really weird. Manaphy, so she has 2 mythical Pokemon on her team. A Rotom Washer, and an Electros. Ooh, thank goodness no Garchomp, because her Garchomp's nasty, but still. Very interesting team choice they gave her. Wasn't enough to stop us, though. Oh, did I spoil it? Oh, well, sorry. We won, guys. I guess I'm a little ahead in the commentary, but just so you know, we did it! We are the champion of this region I can't remember the name of. Sorry about that. But hey, it was a hell of a ROM, and I would definitely recommend playing it. Would I play it again? Maybe later on, but not like right now. I got enough stuff to do, and like I said, it was fun, but I don't think it merited a second playthrough. Alright guys, that's it. We'll see you in the next one. Bye!